What is going on, everyone? This is the Unmasked After Show. Let's kick this thing off. That show was great. Let's just get right into it. That was an awesome episode. What do you guys think? I just love testing stuff. This is the Unmasked After Show, unofficially, with Andy. What is going on? That show was awesome. John did great. And the guys, man, you know, I love to see testing with numbers, SPL, RTA, all that kind of fun stuff, man. You know, that is my cup of twisted tea. Just my favorite thing in the car audio industry. Installing is not. That kind of stuff. I love that. It gives me the goosebumps, no lie. We got a lot of people in here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. This is Tuesday, so we're just going to talk about what they did on the Unmasked show. This isn't Kicking with Andy. I know it gets a little confusing. There's a lot of shows going on. But this one, we kind of just talk about what they did with the sealed enclosure, the testing, the single chamber, the dual chamber, and phase, and how the woofers react real time. I know with the vehicle, it might be a little bit different, but in a big room, you're going to get the most natural response out of the driver and the most realistic, I guess, in a way, a controlled testing environment. That's the easiest way to do it. I don't know if they have what's the word? The chamber with all soundproof. It starts with an A or something like that. But anyway, I think they have something similar to it. But even that, I don't know if that would be maybe the best way to do it, you know, because we're not listening to our stereos in one of those chambers. We're either in our home or in our car, stuff like that. That's the way to do it. So thank you guys for tuning in. I got a lot to talk about with that, and I got some other things to show you. I got more stuff from Kicker, so I figured, hey, before I install it, I might as well show it to you guys and maybe do a little unboxing, talk about the stuff, and go from there. And of course, Friday, we just hang out and have a good time. So why not, you know? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I know Ernie's listening on his way home. Ernie, you did great tonight. We got Basehead Budget here. I wanted to say this guy. This guy's new to tuning in. I know we usually have new people tuning in, but I see the comments. If I don't see you for the first time, you know, I'm like, wait a minute, who's this guy? What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. And of course, the usuals. We got William, we got Cornut, we got everybody in here. Bobby. Speaking of Bobby won third place. Yes, it's rigged. We know this. And actually, first place, it came up as Michael, but it was Scott. Scott Dilbeck from the Rolling Thunder, Southern Thunder Car Audio. So it's just cool when it's the inner circle people winning. And we're not saying that you can't be in the inner circle. It's just, you know, that's just how it is. People tuning in, chatting, you know. It's just cool. It really is. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. William, hey, living loud with Andy, Unmasked after show for the win. You're a rock star. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for that just awesome message you always give me, man. It really makes it easier to do this stuff. I'm exhausted, you know, just a long week. It happens, man. And, you know, it just gives me fuel to keep going, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Absolutely, Basehead Budget. Thank you so much, man. All right, let me get to a couple of these comments. We got Explicit, Thomas Van. What is going on, man? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. You know what? Actually, I have a question for you. I want to do a video for the Kicking It With Andy show about, you know, building enclosures and ported and sealed and stuff. And I wanted to use your app. Just because I love to use it. I think it's the easiest thing, and with the Kicker app, I use both hand in hand, you know, for different reasons. And I wanted to know if there's a way to maybe screencast my phone, or if you can use that on browser on web, so I can show the guys. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate that. If not, I'll figure out something. SJC, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Yeah, I reset everything again. Hopefully super chats work. We're on a one show streak so far, so we're hoping. Thank you for tuning in, man. Let me scroll down here. We got Cornut. What is going on, Cornut? That was actually one of my favorite shows. I didn't realize having the subs closer together is better. They changed my seal design. Right, and I feel like there's a lot of variables with that too when you put it in the vehicle, and just how the enclosure resonates with the vehicle and boundary loading. But with that, just as it is, speakers beside each other or farther apart will make a difference. And that's where John kind of brought up, you know, the square method of how it just works. Yes, you're using more of the surface area available just inherently by being square. But since they are completely together, it's almost working as a complete speaker. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like going from, like, if you had 412s, you know, like a quad box, you know, and it's just like making it one big speaker. The closer they are. Obviously, you know, you have to have your port and all that other kind of fun stuff. But to get the perfect, I guess, in a way, situation, that's what you can do. And you guys seen it. It can make a difference, man. So absolutely, dude, it was an awesome, awesome show. We had a lot of people in attendance too, man. It was like 180 people, which is just awesome. I don't know how your guys' weather. It was really hot today. I know it's been raining for a while, so I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Jonathan, resend it. What is going on? Thank you for tuning in, man. El Fuego says, I see why Kicker moved to every other week. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but you know what? Hey, you know, sometimes quality is better than quantity. And, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, and who knows down the road, you know what I mean? But right now, it's working out, and I think it's for the best so far, man. It's awesome. It really is. Let's see. We got Dave. What is going on, Dave? Thank you for tuning in, man. Yes, Joe, it's always rigged. You know that, man. I know now, too, you know. Drawing the winners. Man, it's just, let me tell you. Oh, explicit audio. You can screencast it from a phone, or I can set up a browser version specifically for you if you would like. Absolutely, man. I know it's kind of short notice in a week if you could. If not, I can bump it back to the week after if we can get it on the browser. I think that would probably be a little bit better because we could show them that, you know, we could do the same thing on your phone, but let me show you on my computer and screen and you know, share the screen. I think that'd be awesome rather than me sitting on the phone and doing all that. I think that would work. If you can't, no problem, but let me know, man. That would be awesome, dude. Thank you so much. That'll be awesome, man, you know, because, you know, I know there's a lot that goes into building enclosures, you know, port velocity and so many variables. But, you know, for the average consumer, at least how I started out and you know, there's these rules of thumbs and those rules of thumb can go right out the window, man. You know, whenever you start tweaking things, and it's like that rule of thumb just doesn't apply anymore. So you kind of have to lean things one way or the other way once you start leaning one way. So I kind of would like to explain that and show kind of like how, you know, each software kind of works. I gotta look to see if the Kicker one works for the web browser. If not, no biggie. But either way, man, something to get across to the people, you know, how different enclosures work. And I like the Kicker one just because it does show, you know, different graphs of how the enclosure will react with the driver, you know, impedance roughly, chart and stuff like that, and overall performance of it. But I like yours for the simplicity of it, and there's just lots of features in the app itself, you know, with just things to show you how things work, kind of what you're going to be going up against with maybe even power. But we're not going to try to get too much into that, but towards the end of the show, hey, who knows? But either way, it's about enclosures and building enclosures. And I would love to talk about, you know, prefabs. They're not all made equally, you know. You know, you could have a really nice prefab, Kicker quad box, or, you know, any kind of, like, I even seen some decent Scar enclosures, you know, they're built strong. And it's like, you can say, oh, well, all prefabs stink. And, you know, usually prefabs use that rule of thumb, that 12 to 16 square inches of cone area. No lie. I even did some specs on the quad box. You know, it's around like 9 cubes, give or take, and it's got around 12 square inches per cube of port, tuned around 31, 32, give or take. You know, my measurements aren't perfect. I don't know how to do curved all around corners, and, you know, I was just trying to get some numbers, but it's just like that's kind of how they make enclosures because they are inherently smaller than maybe a max spec that the driver could be put in to achieve like maybe lower notes in a way, you know, more efficiently. You know how it works. So it's just, you know, it would be cool to talk about those kind of things. Because I don't have like, yeah, my test bench is all torn apart right now, but I don't have any fancy RTAs and all that other kind of stuff, and I don't know enough. But to build a simple enclosure, you can even mimic maybe some of those prefabs, or, you know, hey, I want to get a little bit lower extension. I want to be a little bit louder on less power, you know, or I just want to do hair tricks, you know, who knows? So I think it would be something cool to get into. Sundown Saturn. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing good down there. John K. Andy, are you on Android or iPhone? iPhone, unfortunately. Sorry, I know. Ernie, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, man. Let me scroll down here. I know I'm behind. I'm just talking about boxes. I mean, that's what we were doing tonight on the UnMasked show, and that's kind of the point, man. It was awesome. It was awesome. I really thought that the sealed enclosure split chamber would have done a little bit different when it was wired out of phase. Just for the simple fact that the drivers inside the enclosure aren't fighting themselves, and it's just that front wave going to the microphone. Now, I feel like in a vehicle, it might be a little bit different, but at the same time, you're still going to lose a crap ton of output because the woofers are fighting each other. You might just get a little bit more reverberation because the enclosure bouncing off one way and then bouncing off another way, and it's not entirely 180 out of phase. So you still might make bass in the car, and you might not have as much of a drop, but man, come on. That's like the first thing you do when you're hooking up your system. You're playing it and you're like, man, that sounds hollow. Where is the bass? And then you flip one set of wires, you're like, oh, that's it. If you haven't been there, man, you know, even the most experienced people, they mess up, you know. It's just like, oh, well, shoot, I thought that red was, or that white wire was for positive, you know, whoops, or, you know, you're just kind of putting it together, trying to get it done, because you just want to bang, you know, and it happens. it happens. Or you're just messing around seeing if, because you could have different orientations like they did on the UnMasked show. Which way sounds better in my car. I know a lot of times, even with just one subwoofer in my car or two, I'm messing with the phase, just seeing if that 180 shift, makes the bass sound better. And a lot of times it doesn't. But you do notice that you get a little bit more front end, like mid bass, from your subwoofer, but then you lose a little bit of that low output. And I know some guys may fiddle with that with SQ, and there's a lot more to it. There's just not phase 0 to 180. There's a lot of variables, but that's kind of what they do, and that's the whole thing with time alignment and the wave, and just half wave, trying to compress that wave at whatever distance, at whatever frequency, and then whatever the vehicle likes. There's so many variables, but I just want to keep it simple for you guys, and I think that would be pretty cool, and awesome. Sorry, I'm just going on tonight, man. I was really feeling tired. I was like, man, but watching that show, I was like, man, it sparked. It got the spark going, if you don't have that spark, your engine don't run too well. Explicit audio. Let me see what I can do. You want the current one on your phone or beta of next version? Well, as long as the beta runs good, I don't see why not, man. Either one works. I know you do update it, man. I appreciate it. Are you... Super Chats ain't working again, SJC. And I reset it again right before I went live. Oh... Unless I've been talking so much. I don't know. I might have been talking a lot. Jason, thank you for the $20 super chat. Usually those stick around for a while, too. Appreciate you, man. Let me try the super chat. Good evening, Andy. Thank you for tuning in, man. It's cool to see, not new people, but people that just start tuning in more often, and when you do this stuff, you're talking a lot, but you see the people in the chat and who sits down at the dinner table, and it's just cool that the dinner table needs to be bigger now. We got a lot of people tuning in. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And just awesome, man. Thank you so much. Of course, Deviant is right. He has to let everybody know. Deviant, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. SJC, there are a lot of lost thumbs building boxes. Yeah, man, I know. I seen, what was it, MBE cut his thumb. I cut my thumb. It wasn't even building a box. I don't know if you can see it. Oh. Off the face. Come on. There we go. It's my thumb. Nail. Yeah, you can barely see it now. Anyway, I was cutting the ANC out, and I was trying to use wire cutters, and I don't have good snippers. I need to buy some snippers. Box cutter. Oh, I cut it all right, and went right down to my finger. Oh, God, that hurt so bad. ANC integration stuff is never fun. And I didn't want to pull down the whole headliner just to cut some wires. And with Honda's ANC, you got to have that cut or turned off. I even disconnected it on the amplifier afterwards. So I'm like, you know what? Did all that for nothing. But it's okay. At least it's not in there. I just didn't want to, it worked. Don't get me wrong. The bass played no problem until I shut the door. And then it would start playing like 30, 40 hertz and just wouldn't stop. I'm like, what the heck? This is so weird. But I knew that was coming, and yeah, you got to get rid of that. And we got 37 people in here tonight. Holy moly, that's a lot for right now. It's just cool that people are tuning in. I know maybe it's just because of the weather. I don't know. Maybe you guys like me. I don't know. We'll say yes. Okay, this is about the screen sharing, or you can use something called BlueStack. It's an Android emulator for PC, so you can use phone apps on a PC. I never thought of an emulator. Can look into it. Thank you for tuning in. Ooh, I drank way too much Mountain Dew today. I say I love Pepsi more, but man, can I just down do. And of course, we got all 14.4 volts. The dynamic duo is in effect. What is going on, guys? Yeah, super chats ain't working at all. Got another one from Baba. They're not popping up. SJC, man, I reconnected StreamYard to YouTube right before I went live, but I didn't reconnect it before I pushed it through and made the thing. I'll try that for Friday. Reset it right before instead of well, right before I make, you know, how you make the listing for the live, I'll do it again like that. And if that doesn't work, then I don't know. But I shouldn't have to reset it every time. There's a problem. Because I haven't done anything with this computer, man. Not a thing. Baba with the 14.4 volt chat, super chat. Come on, 25. We adults, right? Unblock me already. Why can't we be friends? War 1975. I thought you guys squashed the beef. What's going on here? Thank you so much, Baba. Come on, 25. Come on, man. Jason, I always wondered how many dBs was lost when subs wired out of phase. Normally could hear the difference, but to see the numbers was cool. Right. And that's, you know, it's crazy that it went down that much. That was almost like ambient noise, you know, 81 dBs. Who knows, you know, what kind of weighting it is. And I mean, 81 dBs can still be, you know, loud. It's, you know, loud talking, I guess. I don't know. But it's just how much compared to. It lost 17 dBs or something like that. Like a lot, you know. You know, 6 dB drop or 3 dB drop is half as loud, or however that goes, or half the power. 10 dBs is half as loud, whatever. You know, so it's literally making like no sound. And it totally makes sense, but at the same time, it's crazy how that stuff works. You know, when you actually get down to it, it's like, man, just because this wave's going up and this wave's going down, and when you mesh them together, they make no sound. It's weird. It's so weird. Absolutely, SJC. Absolutely. Definitely a top 10 show. For sure, man. For sure. Base head budget. With a box build, you can really go down a rabbit hole. Absolutely, man. Easily. Easily. Gotta show some love. We got someone here from Kicker Club. Oh, it's Dave. Come on, Dave. Thanks for tuning in. Gotta show some love on the face to the books, to the Facebooks. I gotta fix my ISO. It gets so bright, and it's only whenever something really bright goes after it, and then the sensor... I'll get to it. I've been dealing with it. I just didn't want to mess with it because 90% of the time it works great. And if you guys been watching me for a while, you know how the ZV-1 has been giving me trouble. We fixed the overheating problem. Thank you, Vega. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. And just everybody else that, you know, chimed in. And goodness. The GoPro was nice, but it wasn't as crisp as the ZV-1. And by the way, I'm streaming in 1080 since I'm not doing any kind of screen sharing. I'll start streaming in 1080 all the time again when I get a new computer that has better, not better RAM, but better graphic card and, you know, just a better processor, all that fun stuff. We'll get there. One step at a time. Let me scroll down here. Brian Townsend says, I'm going to put in an epicenter. Oh, wait, I'm going to pull my epicenter out and put another amp in its spot. I never really mess with epicenters or DSPs or anything like that. But I mean, with a lot of with the right amp, you can get almost as much control, I guess, as you would with an epicenter. I don't know with, you know, how many line ins, line outs that has versus that, you know, equalizers, you know. I just never mess with them, you know. I kind of just worked with what I had and made it work and played the music that sounded good with it. And, you know, obviously you could be lacking some stuff. I know with the pilot build, since I used the key 200.4 and re-DSP'd it with how the 200.4 calibrates everything, I got a lot more mid-bass and a lot more vocals than I usually would have. And my stock head unit, I have like no control. So it's kind of limited there, but it's like, when I put in the new speakers, it'll sound really good. It's not like they don't sound good, it's just they're getting overdriven because they're speakers that are stock. They can't handle that much power, they sound great, but when I'm blasting it, there's certain songs that could sound a little cleaner if I had speakers that could handle it. Usually I knock that down so that the speaker doesn't overdrive itself or distort, you know, just physically, not from the signal or something. You know, so, but it's cool because it's like I'm getting sound that I normally wouldn't, and it sounds fuller, rich. It's cool, you know, and I know I'm missing out on that without running EQ or epicenters and stuff like that, and, you know, DSP. But, you know, for a lot of stuff that we do, I've learned to use with what I had, and it's nice to try with things that I never had before and to actually get more out of it in different ways. So it's cool, man. Good luck on the build, man, by the way. I love big speakers, and I cannot lie. And I cannot lie. Sounds like one of them songs. Man, my ISO is not liking me today. Not at all. Let me scroll down here. We got El Fuego. What is going on, El Fuego? WTFN Garage. What's up, Andy? All this box talk makes me want to build some boxes. I know. I need to build a box for this little guy and that guy still, and a Scar. But the Scar, I got a plan for that, but I still got to do some tweaking to get it in there. So either way, I got some box cutting to do. But I got to clean out my garage. I got some reorganizing stuff I got to do. Yes, Jeffy, I'm selling the couch. I need more space. Taking the couch out of the garage. I never sit it in anyway. It's just, you know, it's an extra desk for stuff half the time, you know. And I'm always working in the garage. And if I need to sit down, I got chairs in there. It's okay. I know, with the boxes, though, man. Joe Cook, thank you, man. I watched just to hear your voice. Thanks, man. There's a lot of DSP in this guy, too. No, I feel like with the right microphone, you can sound like you do in person to someone's ears, or at least sound like how you sound to you, because your voice sounds different compared to somebody else because you're hearing your own voice in your head, and it's just, you know, what's the word for it? Reverberating, you know, just like an enclosure in a vehicle, you know, it's doing the same thing, and it's why your voice sounds a little bit deeper to you than maybe to somebody else. So I don't know. That's a rabbit hole too, you know, with everything else with that. Let's talk about the Unmasked show. You guys are making me sidejag too much. Thanks for tuning in, Cook. Appreciate you, man. Andy, we call that a paper cut, probably counting your Patreon cash. You know, my YouTube hit, Patreon already hit. I've been spending, I have no money left. I spent it all, and you're going to see some of it, and other stuff you didn't even see because I already installed it, you know, and it's just, whew, all for that quad build, you know, and it's crazy, but I have a kicker quad build in my Honda Pilot with everything. It's just, you know, it's done right, and spare no expense on the details, you know, to keep everything as it is and to do extra stuff. You know, I have two systems in one. I take the quad box out, guess what? I still got bass. I got a kicker Comp RT8 in there powered by an amplifier. I'm good, you know, and it's just like I'm doing extra stuff. So, you know, you're going to be paying for extra stuff. But, yeah, no. We're not going to do that just because. Thanks for tuning in, Deviant. Mullen Performance, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in. Let me scroll down. I know I'm probably way behind here. Joseph Keenan. Andy, I'm looking at getting a new amp. What amp would you recommend for a comp? Kicker Comp Q15, price range 250 and under. Think about it. That's going to be tough. Unless you go used. Now, if you're talking strictly new, which I assume you are, your options are going to be kind of limited. I mean, honestly, I think you could run the CX1200 on there and that would be close to your budget, but I think that's $300 and some. So it's a little bit over, but that would be the perfect amp to run. And when you grab the comp, get the Dual 2. Now, not kicker, I'm trying to think what would, it's reliability, you know, and still get the power and performance that you're going to get out of it for the power that you need for that. And how dummy proof of an amp do you want? You know, do you want something that, you know, no matter how many times you short it out, it'll still go and protect and turn back on? Or do you want something to maybe save some extra dollars and get really good power, but it's not very forgiving? So it all depends, you know. Derek's been putting out videos of the SoundQ amps. You know, you could go another full bridge amp, a Terror amp, you know, but then you're talking a lot of overkill. You can almost get a smaller Terror amp like the 1.5 or 1.8 or however, you know, or 2K. I forget which ones they have for the smaller, because you don't need all that power, and you could probably be right around that price range. Now, half bridge or, you know, Korean design, you're going to be paying a little bit more, and maybe not as efficient too. Full bridge amplifiers, it's going to take less power from your electrical system to do the same amount of power. I mean, it depends, you know. If you can, go with the CX series. Even an 800.1 would probably get you, you know, enough bass to be happy, because you're going to be clamping 400 to maybe 600 out of it realistically. But then again, you know, is it better to have more power than needed or need more power? So I would go with the 1200.1, but it's going to be a little bit over your budget, but not extremely. And I mean, you're running the Comp Q15, man. I would spend the extra $50, $70 because your electrical is going to be happy, your subwoofer is going to be happy, and I don't know, man. I just like things meshing, mix and match, not mixing, matching, and just going, shoot, man. I've had systems where it was like Kicker, not Scar, goodness, not going to say that, Shark, and Alpine and Infinity and all these kind of things. And it's nice when you do match everything, because you got to think of it when you buy a product. They do intend for the person to buy said subwoofer to match with said amplifier, or mix and match certain things within the brand. So they kind of, and that's where power ratings kind of work, even when they're not rated correctly, or if they're underrated or overrated. Because if you run the same equipment, you're going to have less chance of, oh, well, this Boss 1100 says it does 300 RMS. That'll be fine on my 300 RMS Sundown. No. That Sundown's going to want like 400, 500 watts. And that Boss amp's going to give out 150. So you're not going to be happy. So that would be my suggestion to you, man. Just spend more now so you don't have to spend even more later. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. Ernie, me and Ernie have a thing about StreamYard and SJC. I mean, you're involved too, man. This StreamYard, it's a pain in the butt. StreamYard is being cranked anxious tonight. It gave us a hard time too. I know. I seen with the switching from camera to camera, like the overlay was like a long delayed switch. It's like, what is going on here? Now the super chats aren't working again. We had that fixed, and I thought it was a miracle, and the miracle ended it. It's okay. But man, eventually I'm just going to get a different computer just for this desktop, and SJC is going to help me out with that. And it's going to be something nice, business style type of computer. Something that's going to be more for this, literally for streaming. And then I'll use this still, obviously, for the amp dynos, SPL tests, and that's what a laptop's for. Portability. I need something that just sits right here and more bang for your buck, literally. So yeah, good old StreamYard, Ernie. Deviant with a weekly public service announcement. Andy's Patreon starts at $1 a month. Look at the chat interaction. He does show twice a week minimum, plus other vids. He scrolls Patreons across the screen. Oh wait, never mind. What do you mean? The Patreons are on the bottom. Come on, man. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Oh no, we scroll and oh, you seen that? Yeah, I gotta get it's a cyst, man. I've been dealing with that probably like 6-8 months, and my dad gets them a lot. I just need to go to the doctors and have them just do whatever with it. Yeah, it's not very good, man. Not at all. I'm surprised you've seen that. Yeah, I guess that is kind of, it doesn't hurt or anything, but I've had them before and they come and go. It happens. But yeah, man. Ooh, no good. Just time. When am I going to do that? I'm too busy, doing this stuff and working and installing with the quad box and Slamology and all this other stuff. It's so hard to just sit down, make an appointment, and do the stuff you need to do. It's more important, but you don't want to. All right, cool. Wow, it's already been 33 minutes. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I missed any super chats. Let me just scroll down here because good old super chat ain't working. Wow. We got a super chat, a chat from Twitch. Yes, I stream on Twitch. Just sending a message on here because, haha, thanks for the shows, John. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. You're probably that one guy who tunes in, I feel like Twitch and YouTube are really hard to start out unless you have a following elsewhere and you let people know, because it just doesn't push live streams. Like, I went live on my backup YouTube channel and like one person or two people tuned in, and it's like, ooh, that's really bad, and it didn't even try to push anything. Yet TikTok, they'll give you 300 and then they'll all leave in 3 minutes. Not even. Because you ain't doing something they want to see, man. I mean, it's a different genre. You go on TikTok, you're looking for that instant gratification. You don't want to hear me sit here talk for an hour about car audio unless you are a true enthusiast. And look how many people we have watching tonight. 30 to 50 people. I watch so many other shows, other than Kicker. It seems like the biggest one, obviously. But it's like, you get anywhere from like 20 to 30 to like 100 to 200. You know, you don't have like this huge, it's because what we do, it is more niche, it really is, but yet it's so big at the same time, and I feel like it's getting bigger as we keep doing it, and how this technology has made us be able to communicate, and you know, it's awesome. Slowly, surely, it's growing, it's getting bigger. More people are just knowing about it. I think that's the thing. Thank you, Thomas. Terry makes 800, 1200, etc. Okay, so I mean, even the 1200.1 would probably be all you need, and I mean, I think it's probably like what, $200 or something like that. Now, again, you know, if you trust yourself enough to run Terramps, you shouldn't have a problem. You really should, especially the smart models. You know, you pay a little bit more, but I feel like they're a little bit more dummy-proof, where you know they have better circuitry. It all depends, you know, but that goes with anything in life, man. So I've talked about it before. I really have. I still suggest to go with the CX1200, but if you can find something around that 250 price point, let me know. Let me know on the next show, and I'll let you know what I think about it. JP800. 199. That'd be a great choice, and I love the down for sound amps, you know, but I feel like you probably would want a little bit more power, but that would be a good backup option next to the CX800.1. You know, same kind of situation, but that JP does a little bit more power, I believe so, than the CX800.1. I know the CX does a little overrated, but I know the down for sound amps, they do a little bit more overrated. Now, is that a thing that I particularly like? I'd rather an amp just do rated, period. You know, maybe like 50 to 100 watts more. I kind of want to know what I'm getting into, especially with the bigger builds, you know, because, you know, you think you're walking in with 8300 RMS, and then, I mean, you might get it, but then whenever you play real low, you might unload and throw 11,000 watts to the sub, and then it's just, but that's the thing, too. With bigger amps, people that are buying those products usually know, okay, let me test drive the car before I just floor it, you know. So I get it. I totally get it. And with the amp dynos as they are with Derek and just everyone that does them with real, you know, what kind of power they do, it's okay. It works. It definitely works. And even back in the day, man, when you had an amp that did more than it said, you were just like, man, this is the best amp in the world. It works. I get it. I totally get it. I still need to grab one of those. I do. Deviant, $1.99 super chat. Jaxie's birthday, 7 years old. 25, Thomas Marshall, Baba, John, or just kidding? Happy birthday, Jaxie. Thank you for your super chat, Deviant. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Still got 40 people in here. That's awesome, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm surprised, you know, there's no giveaway right now. It's Tuesday. It's not the Kicking with Andy show, but, you know, it's cool you guys are hanging out, man. You know, it's awesome. It really is. It's hard to explain. It really is. 25, Andy is going to be featured at the Dr. Pimple Popper show. And that's going to be Kayla. If you have a significant other, I know a lot of them, it seems like, tend to be infatuated with pimple popping. Not my thing. Basehead budget facts, Andy. I'm learning the hard way just how much time editing a YouTube video actually takes. Man, you know, some are lickety split, still 3-4 hours. That's lickety split. And some other ones, it's like it's a process because you want it to be thorough, you want it to be good. You want to grab their attention, but you also want to give them something to eat too. You don't want to just fill them with fluff, you know, candy. That's how a lot of YouTubers are. It's all candy. There's no dinner, or it's just all buttered up buns from Texas Roadhouse, you know. Ooh, you know, and then there's no steak. You know, where's the steak at? So it's kind of hard to find a happy medium. You still got to give them the, you know, the Texas Roadhouse buns, but you know, because they might not walk in. You know, steak might be great, it might be amazing, but they don't know because they don't smell the buns. You know, I don't know. I get what you're saying, though, man, and it's a journey, man. I wish you luck, man. Thank you for tuning in again. John K., I enjoyed finding those emojis. Haha, can't do that on YouTube. I know YouTube's very limited on what you can do. I'm surprised, man, because I feel like, I know Twitch is the streaming platform, but YouTube is more of the organic streamer stuff like what we do here. I mean, I guess Twitch is its thing, but I see it more as a video gamer, you know, kind of thing, not a podcast. This is more podcast. Let me scroll down here. Scott Dilbeck, thank you for tuning in, man. Like I said earlier, Scott got the first place grand prize Cush NCs. Now he can wear those when we do the Rolling Thunder podcast, and we can be matching with our Elgatos and our Cush NCs. Oh, how cute. Congratulations, man. It'll be awesome. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Let's see here. Hey, buddy, what year is your pilot? Oh, come on, Seth. I seen your message earlier. 2011. 2011 Honda Pilot. I know he's looking for the case for that. I see your guys' message. I don't ignore you. I don't. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, buddy. It's just so busy, man. Especially this past couple days. Long story short, like how I said, my neighbors kind of didn't mind the bass. Let's just say, since I've been testing the quad box, and y'all seen the video, and kind of, you know, I have the quad box, it's louder outside the car than Cookie Monster, and I've been testing it. They're not very happy. Let's just put it that way. So, that is what it is. Nothing happened, but still, I'm like, come on. But not surprised. Not surprised. If you're watching, quit being nebby. Let me get to some of the things I wanted to show you guys. Let me scroll down here real fast. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Yeah, Twitch is cringe. Meanwhile, he's on Twitch. All right. Let me scroll. Okay, I'm caught up, kind of, sort of. Okay, cool. Let's start little because everything's kind of stacked here. It's nothing too crazy, guys. But these are awesome. These are the Kissels. These are literally just speaker wires that are integrated to RCAs, and this is great for if you're using like a high level output, not output converter, but if you just don't want to use a converter, you can do this if your RCA or if your speaker level is lower than your pre-out maximum of your amplifier. What I'm doing is I'm using the Key 200.4, and instead of directing the power from the output to the speakers, it's going to go to this Kissel, and then, ooh, everything's flying everywhere. This is heavy. This is heavy, Doc. Backwards. I did an amp dyno on this. It's the CX360.4. So the Kissel is going to go right into the 360.4. So the key will be the line driver, and then this will go into the actual speakers. Now the speakers. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, guys. Deviant25. 25 says, show off that arm tat. Got him. You know what? If looking back at it now, you know, all my tattoos are mostly Christian oriented, but looking at it now, I probably never would have got them. They look cool, I guess. So the Pilot could have taken 6.5 or 6.75, so I got the 6.75. Man, I'm doing everything upside down backwards. These are the 3 1/4, 6 and 3 1/4. Now, I think the RMS is around the same for the 6.5 and the 6.75, but I'm like, you know what, bigger speaker, it must be louder, right? Plus, I'd rather just have something that's, you know, the fit for the car. And this is what's going to be amplified. I have 2 sets of these, so 4 speakers just for the front doors and the rear doors. I already tried to install the tweeters. I wanted to replace the tweeters. That's a story in itself, but I'm gonna have to buy an adapter because I just don't feel like going like this, trying to heat shrink and electric tape and, you know, really far wires in a very tight area if I can just buy an adapter. Plug it into the stock one and then connect those to the tweeter. Turned out that whenever I did my integration, the tweeters had their own output. So I'm like, okay, I'll just take the front output where the speakers that will be being powered by something else, I'll take that as the signal for all the speakers. And then the rear speaker signal for the subwoofer, but it doesn't matter because they're getting powered from the front signal, which is being powered by an amplifier. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll be okay, you know, because tweeters are going to be by themselves, satellite's going to be by itself, subwoofer's going to be by itself, and center speaker's going to be by itself. Well, it turns out that everything else has its own input. The rear satellites, the center, you know, the subwoofer, except the tweeters. They get the same signal from the front driver speakers. So now that they're getting no front signal, they're not playing. So I have to just, instead of disconnect everything, kind of put it in a T, you know, three-way, and have everything hooked together. Obviously not being powered by the amplifier and the stock one, but you know, just so that the tweeters get signal and then put those in. So I've been running without any tweeters. Not that you really need it, because you know, it's just that DSP with the key 200.4, it puts that sound up front. But for all that bass that I got, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. Again, thank you guys for your super chats, man. You guys are awesome. Baba, I gotta read, there's 32 people in here, only 19 likes. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Sorry, just used to saying it. Andy, some love by hitting the thumbs up and like the stream. Thank you guys. Appreciate it so much, man. Goodness gracious. Sorry the super chat function isn't working, but when is it? When is it? Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. I'll get to a little bit more. Nothing too crazy, but you know, just little odds and ends here. Awesome. I'm already kind of sort of caught up. Never really am, but let me get this question here. Kevin Charles, thank you for tuning in. I see we got a lot of people in here new too. What should I set the crossover to on the CXA 1800.1 running 2L7? I think, were you the one that commented on my video with the quad box twice? And this is what you were getting? Okay. So crossover settings. Depends what you're playing, really. And with the amp that you have, you got all the power you ever need. So I feel like if you set it too high, it's going to put out vocals, maybe a little bit. Or it's just going to be hitting kind of things that you just don't need it to. So there's a proper way to set your, you know, low pass, your high pass with, you know, certain slope. I think it's 12 dB integrated for the high pass, low pass, yada yada. Integrated subsonic, infrasonic, 24 hertz or 24 hertz or 24 dB octave slope, infrasonic, subsonic. But I'm trying to think the other one. I think it's 12. But either way, what I usually do is I set it about midway, and then I'll play some songs that are like usually above what the enclosure can play. So say you have the kicker preloaded enclosure. Like, okay, so you got the preloaded. Perfect. So that's tuned around 36, 38, give or take. I forget which. So that should play up to 50, 55, no problem. And then it's going to have a natural roll off because of the enclosure and because of the driver and just, you know, things. So a lot of times, you know, you can set it around 70, 80, but then that might chop off some of those high notes that your vehicle is still enjoying, it's playing well, and that you may like in your music. I've noticed that I can turn that all the way down to 50, you know, and just have a huge, you know, drop, but it depends the system. And it almost sounds a little cleaner, less washed out. But then I'm missing, like, for rock music, you know, certain things, or maybe some of my front stage because I'm cutting it too sharp. But for what I want, I just want the lows, the 30 to 40 to 50 hertz banging, and I don't want it, you know, playing 55, 60 hertz and unloading a bunch of power that isn't even loud for the setup. And that's kind of where I got around things for a lot of stuff. It's like, I'll just tune that down so I'll be loud at where I want to be, and it'll have a nice roll off for where it's not. So I don't have to worry about turning the volume down or the gain knob down or the bass knob down for that certain part of the song. So there's a lot to it. My suggestion to you, turn it to like where you would think 70 would be, and that's where I usually leave them, you know, and then I'll tweak it a little bit. But honestly, if you just want it to sound a little cleaner, tune it down a little bit. If it sounds like the speakers are just playing frequencies they're not good at, higher frequencies inherently, turn it down a little bit. Until, you know, you'll notice, man. I can remember the years, me driving in either the Cobalt or the Saturn or even the Eclipse, pulling over the side of the road, tweaking, 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 you know, and it's just like always. And then eventually you get it to where it sounded good for a lot of things. You just kind of leave it in a picture perfect world. Thank you for your comment, man. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Andy went all out on the kicker stuff. Good for him. You know what? It's like I'm tired of not... There's some down for sound stuff in there. Lugs, some power wire, you know. Speaking of power wire. Oh, God. Now, it's not 0 gauge, but it's 4 gauge kicker wire. 100 feet of this bad boy stuff, okay? Since I'm running... I'm going to show you. Ooh, I'm going to knock down my whole display here. Okay, nope. 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 Of course, we got fuses. Aha. Aha. Are these the same? Yes. Distributors. So, I have 0 gauge going into these, and then 4 gauge is going to go out. So one's going to be for positive, one's going to be for negative, and this will go right by the two CX43 1800s and power them within like 2 feet. So why do you need, and it'll be so much cleaner, tell me to tell you, it'll be so much cleaner than running big 4 or 0-aught. That's just unnecessary when I'm already running 0-aught to this distributor, which technically I don't even need to do, but it's there. Why replace it? Why run 4 gauge and take a chance of maybe getting close to that current draw, because it's going to be 400 amps going through this thing from even that short distance, and that's kind of pushing it for 4 feet, give or take. So I feel like that 0 gauge wire between the battery, it's like 2 feet really, the battery and the distributor blocks, that will be where the amps are, and then 4 gauge from that. And a lot of it is, I was using parts from the Walmart build, like the power wire and some other Walmart Scotch wire for the 4-channel, or not even the 4-channel, for power to be distributed to the key and the key lock, because I was just out of wire. I'm like, man, I didn't even think of this stuff. So I got all that just so I can redo all that, and then it'll have its own distributor from a 2-to-1, the same thing for that, and it'll be awesome, man. It'll be awesome. Oh yeah, and by the way, I lied. I picked up the EB400s. I had to, you know. I wanted to try out their top-notch earbud headphones. So this may be being opened tonight, so I can try them. And watch some Better Call Saul. So that'll be awesome, man. You know, just open them now. I'm really interested on these ones here. You know, it's all tape. You guys know what it is. They're headphones. They're beautiful, and I cannot wait. So, I just bought a bunch of 2-channel RCAs. Now, for these... Oh, did I throw... No. This is a Kissel. I don't need a Kissel. I showed you the Kissel. I threw it down there. I actually bought a RCA splitter from Kicker for the RCAs, so I can have all Kicker RCAs going from a splitter from the bass knob, that is the NVX bass knob, going from front to back, so that'll split and then go to the two CX 1800s. It's just a lot of work, man. I'm just, making sure everything looks clean. So, you know, and trying to keep it all Kicker, man. Now the amp, this amp over here is actually going to be the 46 series, so it's going to be newer than the 43s, but you know what? I was already thinking of something else down the road. Because right now it'll be two CX 1800, the 43 2-ohm versions, and on each set of speakers. So it'll be at 2 ohms and 2 ohms. And then I'm like, you know, that's perfect for like a musical build. It should be able to do a 150, but I'm like, you know what? If I would get the 46 CX 1800s, and they're 1 ohm stable, and I have been pushing the 2 ohm version at 1 ohm. If I would get 2 of those ones that are 1 ohm stable and run them at half ohm, I should be able to double my power, or not even double it, maybe double it, because I'm thinking I'm going to get 2,000 watts. I might be able to get 4,000 watts out of it, because I've ran these CX amps. Obviously, you see in the video I did 1,700 watts. Now I had 2 of them. Now when I run 2 of them, I can't be wired at 1 ohm, obviously. And I can't be wired at half. That's pushing it. So I think it would work, but we'll see. That's down the road. And man, you know, I already have 2 L7S's, dual 2s just sitting over there. Get another 2 and throw them into the quad box if they fit. I have to look more into it. But that's all down the road. I want this to be done. And it's like I'm always looking for more. That's just how it is with us bass heads, man. We're always looking for more. It's terrible, man. It really is. But you know what? It's the drive. And that's the other distributor. Got more fuses just to fuse between the amp and the distributor just in case something would happen. Should be fine. I got kicker amps, man. Unless a wire's coming off or something, you know, I'll be okay. Oh. And the finishing touch. You didn't even know that was sitting there. Got a new kicker plate. I got one on the Eclipse from like 2013. So I had to get one for the Pilot. Just so people know what's in my trunk. You know how that goes. So, what do you guys think? A little bit of stuff, but you know, nothing crazy. I'm excited about this amp because I've amp dynoed this. This was the one I amp dyno was John Ickes's, and that thing screams. I know what it does. Oh man, this thing's rated what 180 RMS by 180 RMS, 180 RMS. But I got like 5 almost 600 watts out of the thing, or it was like close to doing its max rating of 720. You know, clipping, but still, you know, and it's just like, whew, it's got some power to it. Okay, let me see here. Thanks for tuning in, Stu, if you're still here. Man, we're already at that almost hour mark. That's awesome. The Daily Bench. I just ran into a pickle. Upgraded and added tweeters to my basic mid and high system. Runoff head unit, and my sub now has hindered. Quite ABS. When I crank it up, smells and can't keep up. What now? Huh. Well, it sounds like... So you got your speakers powered by the head unit. Now sub is hindered, quiet, and when I crank it up, it smells. I don't know the exact situation, and you have a 300 watt sub. I mean, either way, you're overdriving something, or something could be wired weird. I've seen people that literally wired their dual subwoofer reversed, and it would play, but not very good, and then they just cook it, you know, just like wiring things out of phase, like we did on the UnMasked show tonight. Listen to me, but you know, it's just. It could be a lot of things, but I think you're clipping it. You're asking too much of the equipment. What kind of enclosure do you got? What are you looking at to get out of that 300 watt sub, man? MBE. I know, I always miss his show. He goes live when I do. Bob, Andy keep pulling out goodies. You know, it's because of you guys, man. I wouldn't be able to... Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Andy, that roll is like $600 to $700. Yeah, it was like 405. 405. Yeah, the 0 watt is like 530. But I mean, it's 50 feet. I know it's very expensive, but man, I want matching kicker stuff. I mean, come on. Come on. Unless you're Andy, yeah. Oh, it still costs a lot, man. Don't you worry. I'm happy though, you know, because it's like starting the system from nothing, you know. And the integration, this is a new charter for me, the integration stuff, and it's cool to learn it and how it works. But man, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's beautiful already, man. I'm already teeing off the neighbors. When I come up to a red light, it feels authoritative, you know. You already get those people that creep up, you know, they try to get away from your base. I don't know why they do that, but it's funny. Still never got that on camera. I will one day. And, but it's just like, people are like turning their heads, you know, a little bit. It seems like a little bit more, or it's just, you know, it's cool to have 412s, you know, just knowing you got 412s. And I got back seats. I can put all the windows down, and it's still banging. Open the moonroof, it's still banging. You know, it's totally different than Cookie Monster, and it's a nice overall build. And it's from Kicker, and you can just go and buy it. Like, I don't have to build a box or nothing, man. And it kind of matches the black and red theme of the Pilot. You know, there's not too much red theme going on. It's more black and white, but I mean, it goes with the taillights when you pop the trunk. That's all that matters, man. It works. I like the color scheme. I know my favorite color is blue, don't get me wrong, but man, I wanted my favorite color to be red, but I just wasn't cool enough, you know? Andy starts saving. I see a move in the near future. Man, you know, it's hard to save money. It's not like we don't have money in the bank. It's just the money for my stuff that now that I'm doing this, I don't touch our money for, you know, when I work, for our bills, and that's what's amazing, man, you know, and sorry, Kayla, I love you, but you can't tell me no, you know, it's for the channel. Trust me. Come on, man. No, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys make it happen, too. Andy got Kicker for days. No, Deviant, I did not watch Tommy Morrison document. I barely have any time to Netflix and chill, but when I do, certain stuff. I just finished that, what was it? I can't even remember. That's how bad it is when you start binging on Netflix. You start watching something else, you forgot the last thing you start. Ozark, you start forgetting. Nice. All Kicker all the way. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. The show flew by. I know. It really did. It really did. And it was an awesome show with the Unmasked show. So I got to talk about that. Obviously, it's going to be awesome. And then I had some stuff. I'm like, you know what? Instead of, because I'm going to maybe start. Instead of Netflix and chill, maybe I should at least put in the door speakers. See how it sounds from stock and after, you know, just for my own personal gratification. But we'll see. But yeah, man, you know, it's just, it went by fast, really fast. Too bad we didn't stream like twice a week, because then we could talk even more. Oh, wait a minute, we do. Oh, man. Troy, what is going on? Troy, he said clipping. That's usually the problem. Usually is. It's always clipping. All right, let me scroll down. Textmaster PEB is better than Bass Boy. I've never heard of Bass Boy. There's no escaping the quad box. Exactly. They try. It's funny. It's like kind of like, what do you really think by moving 2 feet or a foot or whatever it is that you're gonna get away from this bass? And then I was playing like 3/4, and then like a certain part of the song came in, and it was like the loudest part, and like I cranked it, you know. But wait, there's more. You know, I'm not super rude about it, but man, it was 85 degrees outside. It was daytime. Okay, we're at a red light, but you know what? You're like 10 feet in front of me. It's not like you're right beside me. And it was a wide intersection, but you know what? I'm a bass head, man. I'm a bass head, you know, and it's like a little bit turned down for what? You know, obviously you have to be respectful at night and, you know, certain situations, but when I'm on the road, man, I'm playing my music, and sometimes I do turn it down in a way, but man, usually it's just because I don't want to clip my subs or, you know, destroy my equipment. I play it within reason. Burps here and there, you know, full tilt boogie. Especially now, because I'm only running 1 amp, I'm clipping. Huh, man, am I clipping. After I did the SPL test, by the way, it did a 148.9 at the kick, or 148.7 at the kick, 147.9 at the glass. I didn't do headrest, probably like a 47, but either way, awesome for 1700 watts, but man, that was 1700 watts at 10% THD. I mean, if you wanted to know what it would do at 2.6 ohms, or actually I think that was higher, I think that was like 3 ohms, because I did play something a little bit lower, and I got the 2.6, and it did like 1900 watts. I didn't meter it, just clamped it, but I couldn't even get anything certified past like 1500 because my voltage. Not good. And I can't get it 2 ohms. The box is pretty efficient. Really is. Caleb Brown, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Feel the bass. The bass. That's probably the, well, you say 3. I know there's a bunch, you know. We've had this conversation. And I know, what is it, 4? I think I like 4 and you like 3 or something like that. But you know what? Either way, you're still feeling the bass, man. OG stuff. That and Bass I Love You. I mean, Bass I Love You, I've never played it in a system that was really loud, but man, did you want to watch that subwoofer. We got Wade Hensley tuning in. What is going on? I actually got to meet Wade at Slamology. He was hanging out the kicker booth. I thought he was a kicker employee. He had his kicker dress shirt on, man. He was looking legit. Thank you for tuning in, man. All right, cool. Let me scroll down here. Ashy, if Kicker made a Solo X quad box, it would be the end all loaded enclosure. I mean, it's not like it couldn't be done. You could do it with like 10s and maybe have around the same like 10 cube enclosure. But I feel like you would need to have an enclosure that's a little bit stronger. So that's going to add some price and some weight, and it's already being freighted. So, I mean, what's the worst? But it's the price. You know, say if the 10s are going to come out to be like $650 or $500 a clip, who knows how much they're going to cost? We'll say $500. You're talking $2,000 for drivers instead of what? The drivers would cost $200 a pop. So $2,000 instead of $800. So you're almost $1,200 more on top of the $1,700 quad box as it is without the wood. So then you're looking $3,000-$4,000. But then, I mean, for people like me that wanted to do this for the pilot, you know, and just buy it, not have to build it, because building a box may be harder to convince your significant other that, okay, I need to build a box for these. Then why are you buying them? You know how some people think. But if it's all together, oh, I just slide it in, babe, it's what I want. Okay, whatever. You know, I feel like for those people it may work, but for a lot, you know, how many are they going to sell? You know, and even how well is the quad box doing itself? You know, we don't know. I don't know. You know, and it seems like it's doing good. People are buying them, but you know, it's a bigger item. Now, could you get Kicker to design you one and make you a quad box for 410 L7Xs? Hey, I think you just need to hit them up. I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, come on, man. You know, like they could probably be like, okay, you want curved edges, you want the curved port, same thing like the quad box, but for 4L7Xs, here are the dimensions, here how to cut it out. I'm sure they, especially you, Ashley, come on, man. And that's what their tech support team is, and they're there to answer questions and help with box designs. Look at Bobby Gately. If you watched their podcast that they did last week, or when Bobby Gately was on the UnMasked show, he talked about it, where he literally asked questions from the Kicker employees of how to build box designs. So if you like Bob Gately enclosures, you should like Kicker enclosures too. Man, I'm running a little bit over, but I'm having a good time. I don't know about you guys. Wade says that was a blast. Absolutely, man. I'm making one for my CRV. Consider the price ZV6 or 5s. Right. And I feel like it's going to be in the same ballpark as its competition. Now, is it going to be more or less? I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. Deviant, we know you were at Slam. We knew it. You were hiding at the boss booth. And don't pretend I didn't see you. You saw me too. Oh man, you guys crack me up. I know Cookie Monster's jealous, man. Isn't jealous of the quad. He's just waiting on that L7X18. Oh, I know. I mean, you know, it's like too soon, Junior. You know. No, I like both, you know, and they both have their spot, man. They really do, you know. They really do. Gotta say though, I do enjoy the leg room and being able to do like almost a 150. It's nice. It's nice. And back seats, man. I mean, whew, what are those? John, did you see 25 Andy's at JP Vid? Oh man, that was 25. Some of your videos are kind of okay, and some are really good. And that was a good one. That was funny. Check out his channel. It's a video of me on JP's video, but me getting a video of JP. That's a tongue twister. It was just you got to watch it. You got to watch 25 Hertz to Life. You got to watch it. It's funny. Oh man, I'm coughing. All right, well, you know what that means. It's time. It is time. It is time, Mufasa. It is time. What about the amps? WX1000. What are you talking about? All right, well, said too much. I'll see you guys next week. No, I'm just kidding. No, for real though. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shoot, man, you guys are awesome. We'll be here Friday, just hanging out, probably doing the same thing we're doing here, talking about the Unmasked show, about the enclosures, or like how we talked about tonight with the enclosures. We're just going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And I mean, that's how a lot of my shows are. It's a free will and chat interaction kind of live stream. And obviously we try to keep to some type of topic, but Friday we don't have to, not whatsoever. So we'll have some fun, and I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. You guys are awesome. And let's get that outro going, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay living loud. Waiting for the caboose like chugga 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 choo choo chugga 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 choo choo. No caboose. Okay, I guess I'll see you guys on Friday then. All right, we'll see you. Ah, just kidding. We got Cornet for Andy's Base Fun, and then another super chat from Deviant Jack's birthday. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much. You're sharing it.